So I figured I'd take a couple videos and we're going to talk about being. First of all, what is being? And then states of being. Because being and states are not the same thing, because you can be many different states, but in all of those states, you are still being. You are a human being, but you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So outside of that experience, whether you call it soul, infinite intelligence, source, whatever it is, that supersedes whatever is happening here. There's, in a sense, more to this reality than what we see physically. And there's a part of us that sees beyond all of it. And that is the part of us that allows us to be. So let's talk a little bit more about that abstract concept. To do that today, I have a book. So I have my iPad here. And I have a lovely book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money by David Cameron Gikandi. Amazing book. It's so good. This book is more money focused, but just like with any other method or type of manifestation, it should be able to be applied to any section of your life. If the knowledge is good, you should be able to repurpose it. So I think there's so much information in here. It's so good. It's so easy to digest. It will teach you the quantum physics. It talks about time, causality, like law of cause and effect. It talks about money. Talks about just happiness, life in general, and in between every single paragraph, it has affirmations. So while you're reading this book, you're literally manifesting. It's so good. So if you're gonna read any book on manifestation, I really do recommend this one. I will link it for you below. So it reads, what is being? You cannot think being, you cannot act being, you cannot talk being, you can only experience being. Being is isness, it just is. Being is consciousness. Being is of no mind. In fact, sometimes mind can destroy being what you wish to be. Being is something you choose to be right now, not later, but now. When you start thinking about it, you destroy it. Once you are, you are. Any thought after that should not be about whether or not you are, it should only be to fulfill that state of being, to experience it rather than determine it. It is often a good idea to be of no mind, be still. So this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately, of being, and especially in the present moment. So what does it mean to be in the present moment? When you're constantly thinking of the past, you're recreating it. You're ruminating on past thoughts, past experiences, you're imagining them, those scenarios, right? You're playing them back over and over in your head, and then you see repeats of those same situations in your life in new ways, or maybe in the exact same way, right? Those karmic cycles or those lessons continue to appear because you continue to create them by living in the past more than you are in your present. Now, if you're living in the future, this is what causes a lot of people anxiety and fear, because you're constantly thinking of possibilities that could happen that haven't even happened yet, right? You're just pretty much now you're manifesting a negative future. So if you're constantly ruminating about a negative past, constantly thinking about negative outcomes in the future, then right now you're recreating that same negative occurrence, experience, whatever, over and over again. So being in the present moment is what people often talk about as mindfulness, right? Mindful awareness. That's why many people suggest to practice mindfulness meditation. I know, boo. People are like, I don't want to meditate. That's boring. I don't want to sit there in silence for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. I know. First of all, there are many different types of meditation, many different types. You can find the kind that suits your fancy, right? Plenty of resources for you to do that. But I think, especially in this day and age where everybody's always on their phone or their laptop, on social media, or consuming all this information that really our bodies are not equipped to handle at such like mass quantities, we're doing that on a consistent basis, and it does cause stress in your body, and you are subconsciously taking in those things from external sources and you ruminate on them, and they do, some of those things stick in your mind, especially depending on what kind of content you're consuming. It is important because if you can find a practice of mindfulness meditation, even if it's 5-10 minutes a day, or as often as you can do it, you can listen to yourself and know when it's time to take a step back. When you practice mindfulness meditation and you lose yourself and the barrier between what's inside and what's outside becomes blurred, you feel what it means to be awareness, just pure consciousness, pure being. That's nothingness, that's the void, that's the source, that's all of it. It literally is nothing. And that is so hard to articulate to somebody who hasn't experienced it, which is why I say practice mindfulness meditation. My brain goes a million miles a minute. I'm always thinking about 50 million different things. I'm always creating some kind of scenario, something like my brain literally goes on autopilot. So along with a mental diet, being aware of the kinds of thoughts that I'm thinking and the pathways that I'm letting my train of thought go down, practicing mindfulness meditation and being able to sit with your thoughts and being able to discern, okay, this thought is mine. Okay, I have attachment to this thought. Why is this way? Okay, that is a thought that I need to let pass. It's like if you can't sit in silence with your own thoughts, if you don't want to sit there and listen to what's going on in your head, then you probably are not going to like the result of what it creates, right? To me, that only sounds logical. So mindfulness, a practice of mindfulness will get you into a state of being, into that state of awareness, of just pure consciousness, pure I amness, right? That's isness, that's being. It's literally pure nothing. Because when you get into a state where you release your identity, you release what you have to do in the morning, your responsibilities, you're the person who you think you are and whatever you're attached to in the 3D reality, and you become nothing, there's a sense of peace, there's a sense of awareness, and there's also a sense of, oh, outside of this body, outside of this name that was given to me that I didn't choose, outside of this person who I've come to be, right, that's accumulated over time. So I wasn't always this person, which means I'm not always going to be this person. So this must not be who I actually am, right? Outside of all of that, you can start to see there's still something left. You can strip down and strip down and strip down to the bare bones, but still there's something there. There's the awareness of the awareness, even the awareness of being the observer, because you are having thoughts, but you're also the one who is conscious of having those thoughts, and it goes on and on and on like that. So that is true being. That's true awareness. That's just, I exist. Hi. We all exist. Everything exists. And that's how we're all one, right? Because we're all being. It goes on to say, thinking has its place. It's a tool, just like your arms and legs. You do not use your legs all the time. You only use them when necessary. Your mind is a powerful tool. It makes many things possible, yet it's so powerful that it often takes you over. Your mind should only be used when necessary, and it's only necessary about 10% of the time. Research has shown that about 90% of our thoughts are repetitive. Most of them are worries about the future or memories of the past. That's what I just said. This is clearly unnecessary. The only real moment is now. Trying to escape now is the cause of much tension and failure and trouble in our world. Your normal state throughout the day should be one of no mind. You should be a watcher, not a thinker. You should watch your mind, just as you observe the things outside of you. Start observing your thoughts as well. In this way, you cease to be under the control of your mind. You stop identifying with your mind and identify with yourself, the all-knowing being. You start living in the present instead of reliving the past or anticipating the imaginary future. Your tensions fall away and your success blooms. So pretty much exactly what I just said. This being, this awareness, this presence is the start of it all. That's where everything comes from. That's where your power lies, in your awareness of what you choose to be aware of what you choose to identify with. All of those things make up who you are. Just being in the full presence of that gives you so much power, because it's from that place that everything else comes, whether it's circumstances or people in your life, whatever it may be. Being able to come back to that place and understand that all of this is temporary. Outside of this, I am a being that is immortal, I'm spiritual, I'm divine, I'm multidimensional, bigger than all of this, what's happening here. And everything that's happening here is a result and a mirror reflection of what's happening within me. I'm controlling this experience. I'm creating this reality. So the awareness of your own being, simply being aware that you are being, that you are consciously creating, that you are here having an experience, that's like half the puzzle. And then the other half is, okay, I am being, but what state? What state am I being? So we'll talk a little bit about states of being in the next video, because I think I've rambled on long enough. I'll definitely be referencing this a lot more often. A big thing in this book is that the author wants this information to be shared. The more that you share this information, the better it is for you and the people receiving it, right? The more people that know this information, the better it is for all of us. So I feel like that this information should be free. Everybody should know it. It's easy to understand and it'll change your life. I think that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for participating and exploring and growing on this journey with me. And I hope that we continue to do that for a long, long time to come. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.